Welcome to our channel, Bravo News. Stephen McBee Jr. reveals heartbreaking truth behind family's sudden house sale. The announcement that shook fans. The McBee dynasty had always been larger than life, from their thriving farming empire in Missouri to their explosive reality TV drama on The McBee Dynasty. Stephen McBee Jr. had built a loyal fan base who watched every move his family made. But on a quiet Thursday morning, fans were blindsided when Stephen Jr. dropped a bombshell on Instagram. Quote, "After a lot of thought, we've officially sold our Nashville house. It just wasn't the place for us anymore." End quote. The post featured a photo of the stunning modern farmhouse-style mansion, its towering glass windows reflecting the Tennessee sun one last time. But beneath the carefully worded caption, the weight of his words was undeniable. Fans flooded the comments within minutes. Wait, what? This was your dream home. What happened? Tell us you're joking, Stephen Jr. And yet, Stephen Jr. remains silent. For weeks, rumors had been circulating about tension within the McBee family, arguments over money, failed business deals, and long-distance strains between Nashville and Missouri. But no one expected the Nashville mansion, a symbol of the family's success, to suddenly be gone. What no one knew was that the decision to sell wasn't just about real estate. Behind closed doors, heartbreak, betrayal, and deep-rooted family conflicts were tearing the McBees apart. The house that started it all. When the McBee family first bought their Nashville house 2 years ago, it was supposed to mark a new chapter. The stunning $3.7 million property was perched on a quiet hillside overlooking the city skyline, complete with an infinity pool, a private music studio, and an outdoor kitchen big enough to host Bravo-sized parties. Stephen Sr., the family patriarch, had wanted the Nashville house for more than just its beauty. He saw it as an investment into the entertainment side of the McBee brand. With the success of their reality show growing, Nashville had become the perfect hub to network with producers, country stars, and potential investors. But from the moment the family settled in, cracks began to form. For Stephen Jr., the house never felt like home. While his siblings loved the glitz and chaos of city life, he missed the quiet Missouri mornings on the farm. Late-night arguments with his father over business decisions became routine, and when his long-term relationship with his girlfriend Kaylee began to crumble, the Nashville mansion started to feel more like a cage than a dream. "Every time I woke up there, it just didn't feel right," Stephen Jr. confessed in an interview later. "I thought Nashville would give us more opportunities, but it came with more problems than I ever imagined." Family drama exploded. The tension reached its peak last season's filming of The McBee Dynasty. Cameras caught several explosive fights between Stephen Sr. and Stephen Jr. over finances, future plans, and the family's growing empire. One episode showed Stephen Jr. storming out of a family dinner when Stephen Sr. accused him of being ungrateful for the life they'd built. "I didn't ask for this life, Dad," Stephen Jr. snapped, slamming his chair back. "I wanted to stay on the farm. You wanted Nashville. Don't put this on me." Behind the scenes, producers whispered that the Nashville house had become a war zone. Stephen Sr. wanted to turn the mansion into a content hub, hosting business dinners and high-profile parties. Stephen Jr., on the other hand, craved normalcy. He wanted his roots, his space, and a life outside of constant cameras. By the end of the season, the tension was unbearable. The once tight-knit McBee clan barely spoke outside of filming, and the house that was meant to bring them together had instead driven them apart. The heartbreaking decision. After months of sleepless nights and family meetings filled with shouting and tears, Stephen Jr. made a decision that would change everything. He approached his father one morning in the massive Nashville kitchen where the sunlight hit the marble counters just right. The kind of moment you'd expect to see on camera, except the cameras weren't rolling this time. "Dad," he said quietly, his voice breaking, "I can't stay here anymore." Stephen Sr. didn't respond at first. He just stared at his son, a mixture of frustration and sadness washing over him. "You want out," Stephen Sr. said, his tone flat. "I need out," Stephen Jr. corrected, his eyes filling with tears. This house, this city, it's not who we are. It's not home. And just like that, the decision was made. A week later, the family contacted a high-end realtor, and within days, the Nashville mansion was on the market. It didn't take long for a wealthy country music producer to snatch it up. The deal closed in record time, and with it, an entire chapter of the McBee family's life came to an end. The farewell walkthrough. The day they handed over the keys was one of the hardest days of Stephen Jr.'s life. He walked through the empty halls one last time, his footsteps echoing off the polished wood floors. Memories flooded back. Late-night laughs with his brothers, filming long confessionals in the living room, heated family debates around the kitchen island. He paused at the balcony, overlooking the Nashville skyline, taking in the view he once thought he'd love forever. But instead of sadness, he felt something unexpected. Relief. Kaylee, who had quietly reconciled with him weeks earlier, slipped her hand into his. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. He nodded, though his voice was shaky when he replied, "Yeah, for the first time in a long time, I think I am." Fans reacted to the shocking news. When news broke of the sale, fans were in meltdown mode. Social media exploded with speculation. Did the show get canceled? Are the McBees broke? I knew something was wrong in that family. The rumor mill spun out of control, but Stephen Jr. eventually took to Instagram Live to address the chaos head-on. "No, we're not broke. No, the show isn't ending. This decision was about family, mental health, and finding peace. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is walk away from something beautiful, but it was the right thing for us to do." Fans flooded the live stream with heart emojis and supportive comments, praising him for choosing happiness over image. A new beginning. Back in Missouri, life feels different, slower, calmer. Stephen Jr. spends his mornings watching the sunrise over the farmland, something he missed deeply during his time in Nashville. He and his brothers have thrown themselves into expanding the family's agricultural business, focusing on rebuilding what fame and reality TV nearly tore apart. And though the cameras still follow them, after all, Bravo isn't letting the McBees go anytime soon. The energy is different now. The pressure is lighter. The mansion is gone, but what's left feels real again. In a recent confessional for the upcoming season, Stephen Jr. summed it up perfectly. Quote, "Leaving Nashville wasn't the end of the McBee dynasty. It was the beginning of a better one." End quote. What comes next for the McBees? Rumors are swirling that the next season of the McBee dynasty will focus heavily on the fallout from the Nashville move, including shocking revelations about hidden debts, strained sibling relationships, and possible betrayals we haven't even seen yet. Bravo insiders hint at a massive twist involving Stephen Sr. and a secret investment gone wrong, which may have contributed to the urgency of the sale. Meanwhile, fans are desperate to know if Stephen Jr. and Kaylee's reconciliation will last or if more heartbreak is on the horizon. One thing's for sure, the Nashville chapter may be over, but the drama is far from done. The whispers in Missouri. The Nashville chapter may have ended, but the drama was far from over. When the McBee family returned to Missouri, the rolling farmlands brought a temporary sense of peace, but beneath the calm, tensions were brewing. Rumors began circulating almost immediately among locals and hardcore fans. Why had the Nashville house really been sold so quickly? Was Stephen Jr.'s heartfelt statement about finding peace the full story, or just clever damage control? An anonymous Bravo insider leaked a cryptic post to Real TV blog. The McBees aren't telling fans the whole truth. The Nashville sale wasn't just about mental health. Something big went down financially, and it could shake the entire dynasty. Suddenly, Reddit threads exploded with speculation. Was Stephen Sr. hiding debts from the family? What if the Nashville house sale wasn't optional at all? I bet they were pressured to sell before something worse hit the press. For Stephen Jr., the whispers became impossible to ignore. One night, he confronted his father on the back porch of the family farm. The summer air was thick with humidity, and the crickets filled the silence between them. "Dad," he said sharply, "what aren't you telling me about Nashville?" Stephen Sr. didn't answer right away. He took a deep breath, stared out at the dark horizon, and finally said, "There are things you don't understand, son. Things I had to do to protect this family." But before Stephen Jr. could press further, his father walked away, leaving behind more questions than answers. The secret investment. The next morning, Stephen Jr. went digging through paperwork his father had left in his office. What he found shocked him. A series of emails between Stephen Sr. and a high-profile Nashville developer revealed a failed multi-million-dollar real estate investment. Stephen Sr. had secretly leveraged a portion of the family's farm profits without telling his sons to back a luxury condo project downtown. When the project stalled, lawsuits loomed, and pressure from creditors began to mount. The Nashville house, as it turned out, hadn't been sold by choice. It had been sold to cover massive losses. Stephen Jr. felt the room spinning. The betrayal hit hard. For years, he'd been at odds with his father about business decisions, but this wasn't just about pride. This was about survival. Later that evening, he confronted Stephen Sr. again, slamming the printed emails down on the kitchen island. "You risked everything," Stephen Jr. said, his voice shaking with fury. "Our land, our name, our future, and you didn't even tell us." Stephen Sr. rubbed his temples, visibly exhausted. "I thought I could fix it before it became a problem," he admitted. "I didn't want to drag you into it. I didn't want you to hate me." The silence that followed was deafening. A family divided. The revelation split the McBee family down the middle. Cole, Stephen Jr.'s younger brother, was furious when he learned the truth. He'd been managing the farm's day-to-day operations and felt blindsided. "You let me work 18-hour days thinking we were stable," he yelled during a heated family meeting, "all while you were gambling with everything we built?" Meanwhile, Galena, Stephen Sr.'s partner, sided with him, insisting that selling the Nashville house was the smartest decision they could have made. Her support only deepened the rift between her and Stephen Jr., who had always viewed her with quiet suspicion. Kaylee, ever the peacemaker, tried to calm everyone down, but even she couldn't deny the growing cracks in the dynasty. "It's not about the house anymore," she told Stephen Jr. later that night. "It's about trust. And right now, that's broken." Bravo smells blood. Behind closed doors, they were ecstatic. The Nashville sale had already set social media on fire, and now they had a fresh goldmine of family conflict to film. The upcoming season's storyline shifted overnight, focusing on secrets, betrayal, and financial ruin within one of the network's most watched families. Leaked production notes revealed the working title for the first mid-season episode, The Price of Paradise. But not everyone was happy about it. Stephen Jr. debated pulling out of filming altogether, furious at the idea of airing private family business for entertainment. "They want us to bleed on camera," he told Kaylee bitterly. "And Dad's okay with it because drama sells. But what about the rest of us?" Kaylee placed a gentle hand on his arm. "Maybe this is your chance to tell your side of the story," she whispered. The final goodbye. Weeks later, the McBee family returned to Nashville one last time, this time not as homeowners, but as visitors. They filmed an emotional farewell scene for Bravo, walking through the empty mansion together, retracing memories from happier days. Stephen Jr. stood in the living room where countless family dinners had turned into screaming matches. He closed his eyes and inhaled deeply, as if trying to release years of anger with one breath. "Goodbye," he whispered under his breath, his voice cracking. "You were never really home." The cameras caught every second. A surprise ally. Just when Stephen Jr. thought he was alone in his battle against Stephen Sr.'s secrecy, an unexpected ally emerged. His brother, Jesse. Jesse, who had largely stayed neutral up until now, reached out one evening with a revelation of his own. "I found something," Jesse said, sliding a thick folder across the table. Inside were bank statements, contracts, and communications that proved the Nashville house wasn't the only asset at risk. There was another property,
a secluded lakefront estate in Missouri, quietly tied up in the same investment mess. If the McBees didn't act fast, they could lose that property too. The new war begins. Fueled by Jesse's discovery, Stephen Jr. confronted his father the third time, but this time it wasn't just a son facing his dad. It was a son fighting for the family's future. Either you come clean to Bravo, to the fans, and to us, Stephen Jr. said coldly, or I will. For a long moment, Stephen Sr. just stared at him, his jaw clenched tight. Then he nodded slowly. You want the truth out? Fine. But when it comes out, this family may never recover.
And just like that, the next chapter of the McBee dynasty began, one filled with secrets still untold, deals still hidden, and a family on the brink of implosion. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates.